Welcome to the Celebration of You. I'm your host, Holly Dowling. I'm thrilled to share with you incredible people from all over the world who are living and leading extraordinary lives. From overcoming immense adversity to discovering the secret sauce to leading with courage and grace. Their stories are going to bring you hope and inspiration. Now, let the stories begin. Welcome to the Celebration of You, and I am already giggling because I am so excited. This is the second time ever on the history of the show that I am having a guest return. And I am so excited because I'm getting goosebumps as I even talk about it because we've just been giggling and chatting and catching up. She has become one of my dearest friends. And to this entire world, I feel like what she's doing, I want you to stop everything you're doing when you get ready to listen to this episode of Celebration of You. Today is a day that this world needs to pause and listen to how serious this is and what this beautiful, amazing woman is doing with the mission on her heart to make a difference in our world. And if you're a parent, if you're not a parent, if you have children in your life in any capacity, if you're a human being, with or without children, you need to hear what we're about to talk about because it impacted my life and changed me forever. Charlene Doak-Gebauer, thank you for being with me again.
Thank you for having me again, Holly. It's a pleasure.
Oh, you know, look at me. I'm like screaming into my microphone. I'm so excited.
Me too. Yeah.
It's been, and you were on, we realized it'll be 2 years ago, December. The first time you were on. Yeah. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. And you have, and I know we talked about it on the first show, but just to bring people full circle, because now we're in 87 countries and there's a lot of people that will not have heard the first episode, that Charlene and I were blessed and fortunate to meet at an event that we were both guests and receiving an award at. And we both still to this day laugh because we hung out in a little tiny hotel's cozy little fireplace lobby and just chit-chatted and bonded for the rest of our life. And then you recently you were invited as one of the exclusive women invited to my elite retreat, and
yes.
And of course everybody's best friends now, and
that's right.
Yeah. Aside from all of that, my love, it is time that we revisit and hear the latest on what's going on in one of, to me, the most serious global epidemic crisis that's happening in our world. And I'm going to just leave it at that. Tell us all about what you're doing and what your mission is right now, and then we'll get to the stats and how scary it is.
Sure. Well, I'm an author, and I have developed a theory of digital supervision for child and family protection on the internet. I'm a computer specialist, network manager. I have an awful lot of rods in one fire, but having experience teaching youth and dealing with families, I became very much aware of the problem with the internet. The internet has some good sides, but the dark side is growing exponentially. In fact, with the explosion of the internet, children have become more vulnerable than they ever have before. And I decided that I would start writing something that would be user-friendly, unique, and that everyone could understand. And that's basically what I'm doing and getting the message out there.
Which is, it sounds very, like the way you just describe it, it sounds so, let's just say, digital and technical and theory. The reality is, to everybody out there, the reason Charlene's so passionate about this is you had your own niece, family member, impacted by child pornography, and it was the neighbors.
Yes,
right?
That's right.
Yeah.
At the age of 4.
And the people that your family trusted, your next door neighbors. Right.
Oh, yes. They had a daughter the same age, and they were abusing their own children and 2 girls in the neighborhood. And it was devastating for my family, and we just didn't know what to do. Later on, at the age of 22, she was killed by a drunk driver. And after that, I thought, what can I do to help my family and help me get through this? And I started writing the book. I started a charity dedicated to helping child victims of internet predators. It's now called Internet Sense First. And I speak globally about internet safety.
And I mean globally, just so everybody knows. Just in the last 6 to 12 months, you've been from India to Holland to Iceland, various places in Europe, United States, in Canada. You're being asked to come speak in Africa because this is a global, serious epidemic, and it's the exponential rate in which this is getting worse, right, Charlene? I mean,
yes.
It's scary.
It's very scary. In fact, just last week, I was chatting with a fellow in Lyon, France, and he is a professor at the Lyon III University in France, and was very interested in what I'm doing. And he said, you have to go to Africa. This is a big problem there. And I said, you need to understand, I hear that in every country I speak in, which emphasizes to me and should emphasize to all the listeners that this is a global epidemic. It's not just going away. It is not just a little thing. And it is amazing. When I speak, people sit and they look and they listen. And I can tell there are people doubting. And when I'm done, people ask me, what is the reaction when you speak? And I say, the only word I can use is stunned. Yeah. Because people have no clue the magnitude of the problem out there.
And I literally end up always starting to get emotional because I'm a parent, right? And
yes.
This starts, it's like that day we met and you said parents think, oh, it's not happening to my kids because we have rules about our cell phones. You can't be on your cell phone after a certain time of night. This has nothing to do with cell phones. These perpetrators are getting to these children like a neighbor just did, what happened to you guys. Mm-hmm. But these are through video games. I mean, talk to us and give us a nugget of why I would be stunned sitting in that audience. And then I'll scare everybody with the nugget you shared with me about who's sitting in the audience. Because many times these are the people that are making a lot of money off of this.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yes. The big problem, and cell phones are a huge problem when the parents provide data.
What does that mean? Tell me what that means.
Well, it means that they can go on the internet through the cell phone. Because parents, every time I speak, I will say, you need to be on these devices and supervising your children and what is going on, because there are children 6, 7, 8 years old addicted to pornography and their parents don't have a clue.
And how is that possible? How does that
happen? The parents aren't looking, and they don't understand that children, number one, are doing self-exploitive pictures, and because of the cameras on the phones, they're taking pictures of themselves nude and distributing them. And these kids are doing it from the ages of 4 to 18, because anyone over the age of 18 is an adult. And the parents, because they provide these devices, are actually legally responsible for the content, so that the child pornography laws will apply here. And when I tell parents that, it's amazing how much they gasp for air and say, what do we do? What do we need to do? And in my theory of digital supervision, it is, there are 3 main parts to it. There's awareness, and this is where it takes a good hour, at least when I speak, to make people aware of everything that's going on out there. And then I tell them ways that they need to apply and supervise their children. And then I tell them, you know what, there is hope. Good. There is a possibility, and you can do this. I'm sure the listeners all say, my kids know more than I do.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And the unfortunate thing is, they don't know as much as you think they know. And as an educator, I know in the classroom that students would say, I'm a gamer, I can do this. They can text, sext, email, do social media, they can game. For me as a computer programmer, that is really not computers. But parents can, through digital supervision, learn how to actually supervise their children online. And this isn't blocking, this isn't filters. Any kid will tell you they can get around filters.
Isn't that amazing? The kids can get around filters. We don't even know how to get around filters, but the kids do.
Well, they do. And parents need to catch on to the fact, and I will say this very bluntly, this generation is being exposed to more pornography, sadistic behaviors, inappropriate websites, violent websites, any type of data like that more than any child in the history of the world, any generation in the history of the world. And when you look at it that way, you wonder what's going to happen in the future when these children, I get calls from parents all the time. My child's been on XXX porn sites. He's 6 years old. What do I do?
Oh,
and
my
I say,
goodness.
yes. And I tell them, you need to be supervising them directly on the device and having rules. Oh, well, we have rules. They can't be on the machine after 7. They turn in their cell phones. And then I will ask parents, do you look at the pictures on the cell phone? Oh, well, no. Well, that would be an invasion of their privacy. And I tell them, well, the police may be interested in their privacy at some point, and you have a liability because they are a minor. And what I'm starting with my theory is telling people, since when did we as adults relinquish our responsibility for a minor just because they're on a digital device?
Oh my gosh, that sounds so profound the way you just said that. And that's exactly what's happening. Suddenly,
it is.
Yeah. We're like, oh, we don't want to invade their privacy. Are you kidding me? It's their protection and keeping them alive.
That's right. And let's put it this way. You've got a 16-year-old son or daughter that gets a driver's license. You have insurance to cover them while they're driving the car. You have a responsibility for that minor when they're behind the wheel. You have a responsibility for that minor when they're behind a screen. And people have to start waking up. I'll just give you an example.
Yeah.
The internet started in homes around 1994, and it was just minuscule. The wealthy people had it. It went on to around the year 2000 when I was teaching at a network, and they had animated GIFs. We actually had moving characters on the screen, which was space age at that time. 2006, Facebook came out. 2010, Instagram came out. In the history of the world, this is an explosion of information, and the world isn't ready for it yet. And the parenting must change. It must include supervising these children on these devices.
So take us to what's just one method. So if a parent is listening right now and they're freaking out, which I know they should be. I'm actually doing this, and I'm enraged myself because I want people to be scared. That's why I said stop what you're doing and listen to this, because the people that think it's not happening to their kids and in their home are the exact ones that it's happening to, right?
It's happening everywhere.
Yeah.
Parents are not getting it. One thing that I tell everyone is the location of the router in your home. It should be in the parental bedroom. And that's for 2 reasons. Number one, parents will always tell me my kid's online all night. I don't know what to do. And I tell them, turn the router off. But also make sure that there isn't an unsecured router in your neighborhood that your child can access. So you'd go around knocking on doors. And if you turn the router off and it's in the parental bedroom, they cannot go and turn it back on. But by the same token, if it's in the parental bedroom, you are emphasizing who owns the internet in your home, who is supposed to be in control. Because, ladies and gentlemen, the listeners, your child is in control of your internet if you are not supervising them. And anyone on the internet is in control of your child's thoughts. It's a profound problem. We need to catch on to this.
Every time you speak, you get sought after more and more. I mean, you've now been asked to come to speak at the parliament. The governor of the state of Texas, they've reached out to you. I mean, we have people that are saying, here's the thing, you're bringing in awareness, Charlene, because nobody else out there seems to be doing it. And it's scaring people. And this is, I mean, my God, we could spend hours on this because there's endless stories. And I know there's so many stories of what you've personally experienced all over the world in helping people.
Yes.
The story that was startling to me that you shared with me when we were together here at the retreat, but that was the, and without giving away too many names, I don't want to do that. I just want share with us, because your expertise, especially in school districts on computers, you are the computer person, and the, how some of these children that have been victims of pornography, it's coming from people and teachers in the school district, if not principals. Is that correct?
Oh, it can be everywhere. You look at the And I don't want to name religions, but there are religions that are hitting a crisis right now with pedophilia. And what I tell people, and I won't name any religions, but what I tell people is whenever there is that type of experience in this day and age, there will be a camera. Because that is a profit-making billion-dollar industry now. So if people are going to start abusing, there will be a camera or a video machine so that people can then tape and make money off of it. So it is a multi-billion-dollar industry worldwide. In fact, the fellow at Lyon, France said in Africa it's a huge problem. In fact, sex trafficking, it goes with sex trafficking.
Yeah, I was going to go there.
You are over the hill at the age of about 12.
What?
Oh, yeah. And in fact, they are lusting for children babies in diapers. This is how bad it is. And unfortunately, they are finding each other online, and it becomes a family feeling. And they start thinking, well, this is okay. We have 1,000 people on our private chat for pedophiles. And they start thinking it's okay to do this. And it's becoming more and more acceptable to the point that pedophiles want to be referred to as pedosexuals and be part of a sexual orientation, the LGBTQ community. And we have a lady from that community on our board of directors who is absolutely horrified because she said, why are they using my community? She's a mother, she's married to a woman and has 2 children, and they're not pedophiles.
No, but by God, people are using that to help to create a platform. They're actually creating themselves their own sick platform.
Yes, all right. And they have a logo as well.
Oh my God.
And they have groups all over the world, man-boy love association, things like that. A lot of them are breaking up and they're just online on chats now. But if children are on games, I'm a playwright, and I've written a play about internet safety. In fact, it's going to be performed in Canada next month. But it emphasizes how much these children can be on a chat line through a video game because their parents are not watching what they are doing. And this type of predator is asking them to do things, take their clothes off. They have the webcam wide open. They can see each other. And in one of the scenes in the play, there's a 7-year-old, and it's appropriate for all ages. I will emphasize that, this play. And the predator's on there, and he says, what's your name? My name is Jane. How old are you? I'm 7. What school do you go to? I live in BC. And this girl says, I live in Ingersoll. And I tell everybody, you know what? That child has given them the video of them on the webcam, their age. He knows what they look like, what school they go to, and where they live.
Oh, my gosh. I never even thought about it like that. The whole identity is right there.
It's all there. So all they have to do is go to the school. And by the way, your child will believe they live in British Columbia, but they could live one street over in the community.
And when you mentioned the video gaming, let's just touch on that for a second, because that is such a propensity. All kids, everybody's into the video gaming, and they're meeting up with people, right? You have competition. There are groups of people that are competing, and they're from all over the world. This is exactly how some of these predators are getting right into the hands of these kids.
That's right. That's right. There's a known case in Canada, a few of them, and they're around the world, so I won't even say Canada, right, where a child has done the self-exploitive picture with nudes, and this predator starts circulating it around all social media. The child is then ostracized in school, and there may be a suicide. And this, to me, digital supervision, my theory, should be used for suicide prevention.
Yes.
Because if you are on the device, you will know how your child is communicating with other people, which would stop cyberbullying from your child, as well as to your child. You would know if they're doing self-exploitive pictures. You would be there helping your children the way it used to be when parents played cards with their kids or board games, or they'd have friends over. Now the friends all get together online, and parents tell me, well, they have to do it online and this sort of thing. And I'm like, well, do you ever go on the game and play with them as an anonymous player to see how they're communicating and what they're doing?
That is right there. What a brilliant, simple move for a parent to go do.
It is.
Yes. And that's brilliant.
And then parents will tell me, should I tell them I'm online with them? And I said, well, I wouldn't. If I wanted to know how my kid was actually acting,
Well, yeah,
I would not. I wouldn't tell them I'm online with you playing.
My God. But I mean, they're going to be, and every parent's wondering, okay, what can I do? Well, you just rattled off all these ideas right now. It's called supervising. And let's scare people into this. God, by God, remember, if your child's under the age of 18, you are held responsible in the court of law if anything happens because you are paying for that device.
That's right.
Right? Your child, that device is really in your name or you're paying for it, right? They're a minor in your care. So that's the part that you really got me with was parents don't even realize. Like if nothing else will scare you into this, realize that you're the one being held liable for whatever happens.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
And police, I have been a keynote speaker for several Crime Stoppers conferences.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm very pleased because I'm speaking again in Toronto in November. And the police see this as the proactive approach so that they're not having to deal with so much at their end where they arrest and charge. And they say, well, you know a lot more than we do about a proactive way of avoiding this with children. Another problem with children seeing so much pornography on the internet is that there is now becoming an epidemic of child sexual assault on child because they're acting the pictures and videos that they see.
Oh my gosh. Charlene, who would have ever thought that?
But you see, children mimic.
Yeah.
And they don't get it. I had one parent, she sent me the internet history. And she said, I can't believe my son's been on here. And he was 6, I believe. XXX sites, all that sort of thing. And she said, he told me that the kids at school said, do you want to see some funny pictures? And I stopped. And I thought, no, I'll say it. I said, I'll call her Susan. I said, Susan, a child in school wouldn't say, do you want to see some funny pictures? The child in school would say, do you want to see some naked people?
Yeah.
A predator would say, do you want to see some funny pictures? And I said, you need to be very careful of what your children are doing online. The play that I've written, it is a predator talking about his child and son the same age. They always groom the child. They say, you're very much like I am. I like skateboarding, things like that. Or they can actually get a voice machine to disguise their voice as a 7-year-old and start talking to a 7-year-old as though they are.
They're doing that? Oh my God. Okay, yeah. Wait. And the word grooming, we're hearing a lot about this word. Can you just give us, what does grooming mean? If somebody out there is listening to this and they're like, what does that mean that somebody's grooming my kid? Tell us what that really means.
Well, it means that they gradually get the child in their trust. And that would be like, they could do it in a room and they gradually get the child eventually to perform acts that they shouldn't be doing. Online, they do it for the child to trust them enough to get involved with them in a game and then to start becoming nude online. And then they can use those pictures and sell them online, and it's child pornography. Or they will groom the child to trust them enough to meet them somewhere.
Yeah, that's the scary part.
And you talk about a predator who has a machine disguising a voice saying, let's go to the park. I just live in your neighborhood. They go there and there's this man or woman, but unfortunately, most sexual offenders are male. Then the child goes and they're looking for a 7-year-old, and then let's not go further.
Right. Because that's his, oh my God.
Yeah.
And this is why I want this to be what we're doing right now, which is talking about the reality of it, the brutality of it, and the severity of it. Can you take us to, I know this is really deep and dark and scary, and I want to scare people into the severity of this, but tell us some success stories, because there's been some amazing success stories of children or people's lives that have actually been saved because of the work you're doing, whether it's to help Crime Stoppers or in the school districts or just bringing awareness. What's like one of your more recent or something that you're very excited to share of a success story?
Well, when we first started the charity, we had a Twitter account, and we have one now, but I'm finding social media. I've just got so much that I'm doing. But the police officer that was running the account, he called me and he said, "Charlene, I just got kiddie porn on Twitter." And I said, "Are you kidding me?" He said, No, I'm serious. It's pretty disgusting." So I got the police in our area to pay him a visit. And they took a statement and they said, "We will tell you that it is in a city in the United States." I said, "Okay." And I think it's safe to say at this point it was New York City.
Okay.
And I said, "Okay." So then I got a copy of an email from Homeland Security that said it was a 19-year-old in New York that was arrested for producing and distributing child pornography. His tweet said, "What I do when I babysit my niece." And what the horrific thing is that it was a baby in diapers. And the police will tell you that they don't care anymore the age of the child. In fact, it's getting more lustful to have them younger and younger, and even infants. And if the world doesn't grasp onto this very quickly, we're going to be in a real problem. Because as I said, I'll emphasize, this generation is being exposed to more perverted sex, violence, pornography, and everything else more than any generation in the history of the world.
Ever. All because it's like exploding with the
all
access.
Because of the internet.
Yep.
And to me, digital supervision must be emphasized and parents told, you are providing the internet in your home. You have a responsibility to supervise. You can no longer say, "I didn't know." And let's get to radicalization. We've had the Muslim Society in our area has been interested in my theory of digital supervision so that it might be proactive against radicalization of members of their family so that it can be caught before anything goes any further. And when you look at child pornography, the parents have a responsibility, the devices and so on. You look at radicalization, there isn't a whole lot of difference in the responsibility. You provide the internet, you provide the device, you have a responsibility.
Yep. And if you look at it like that, you own knowing that you are being held accountable and you are responsible. And if it's not, if you don't even have children, it's being responsible for all of the children out there in this world. I mean, the fact that that person, because you guys, and that was just to go back to that story you just shared, that was you guys created, was that a fake Twitter account just for this reason, to capture somebody? Is that what that was?
It was just a Twitter account to communicate that we exist.
And you're the good people trying to bring awareness.
That's right.
And that Twitter account actually was the reason that this individual ended up arrested. And at 19, how many years could have gone on? Right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And someone trusted him to babysit that baby.
Well, and I go back to what your family went through with your niece, right? Like the people we trust, our next door neighbors, the people you would least expect. So as we wrap this up, let's end on something empowering. And I know it's not the most positive conversation, but it's so important that we have it. Charge us with something. Give us something to go out there and tell us what we can do. Like me, Holly, I'm a grandma, I'm a mom. I mean, I don't have kids in my home anymore, but what could I, Holly, be doing, or somebody else out there, Charlene, any human being out there, to start making a difference? Tell us what we can do. Challenge us.
Well, I think my book certainly has my theory of digital supervision in it.
Yes.
Which I have had people tell me. Well, one lady said, "I've never read a full book until I read yours." It is user-friendly, and it does give ideas for digital supervision. I'm writing my second book. I'm halfway through it. And in that book, I'm going to be emphasizing my holistic nutrition qualifications as well, talking about overcoming trauma through nutrition, things like that. But my theory of digital supervision will be in it. People need to start looking at this very, very seriously. Mm-hmm. We need to deal with the explosion of the internet objectively and with protection of our children and families in mind. If you're a grandparent, do you babysit your children? Of course you do, your grandchildren. They may have a device in your home. Do not be the grandparent that the police come to and say, your grandchild visited someone and they were chatting to the predator while they were in your care.
Oh, that just made my stomach turn.
Well, you see, this is why people will tell me I'm a grandparent or I really don't have children in my home. These are all of our children.
Absolutely.
We all have a responsibility to protect them.
Yes.
And as a grandparent, gosh sakes, that's a huge responsibility. You just don't, I wouldn't let them use their cell phone in the house, to tell you the truth.
Well, and it's funny you say that because I just had my grandson and my nephew here. We just had them a couple of weeks ago. And I was shocked that they actually had a cell phone. I'm like, oh no, you don't need to. Why are you so young? So of course I'm notifying the parents, but I said, that's going to be turned off. And when you want to talk to your mom and dad, you can call from my phone. But I was just shocked at a child these ages even having a cell phone, right?
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. Oh, girl, we could just, and I'm sitting here going, there was another whole thing I wanted to talk about, which was just the most amazing experience was to watch you have the ear seeding experience with acupuncture, but that's a whole
that's right. I've told everybody about that.
Well, we'll end on a positive, and that positive is, and then I've got a little surprise to share with everybody. So when Charlene came to the retreat, it's a very, very, just a time of recharge and rejuvenation. And I really just go to splurge. Like I want all of, you try everything, learn how to do things you've never done before to take care of yourself. And Charlene was like, we all go through these mini sessions. And one was around ear seeding, which is a form of acupuncture where these little things get put on your ear, but it's based on you telling the specialist, the person doing it, what, do you have any issues or anything? But Charlene, can you just really quick take me back to that moment when you told Tisha, right, like what had happened to you and the pain you've lived with for so long? Will you just tell everybody this? Because this ends on a real positive, because then we got to witness you.
Well, I was born with a cervical rib. I'm an identical twin, and my twin didn't get any deformities. I got them all. And they had to remove the rib after I had a baby because I was blacking out. I had car accidents ever since, and I've had chronic pain in my neck since then. And when she put the ear seed in a certain spot of my ear, everyone there said, "You're changing before our eyes."
Literally, we watched your entire face change. You were
I know. And the thing that was incredible was the pain was absolutely going out of my neck. And quite honestly, I have not had it so severe ever since.
Are you serious? Since May?
Since May. No, I'm serious. And I credit a seed in my ear for that. That's amazing.
Well, and we were literally sitting in like a half moon circle, and the gal sitting across from you looked over and said, "Charlene, oh my God, can everybody see?" It was Lisa. She goes, "Look at your face." And we all looked at you, and it's like your entire face was just changing. Like your one eye had been kind of scrunched. It just opened up. Your eyebrows opened up. We were like, that night at dinner and then the next morning, we're like, you just look like you've gone back in age. You just look like, right? And then you got home and your husband said to you, "What did you do? You look like," didn't he say something to you?
Oh, yeah. Oh, no. He said, "You ever look relaxed?"
You just were like, it was like, oh, okay. So if anybody ever wonders what ear seeding is, right? That's another whole topic for another podcast.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Oh, well, my love, as we wrap this up, I'm so passionate and just love you to pieces and so excited about what you're doing and what you've chosen as your mission in this world. And anybody that's listening, no matter where in this world you're listening, and we as a human being, with or without children in our immediate home, we have, I believe, a responsibility because this is just getting worse. And Charlene's one of the few people out there. I mean, she's being sought after all over the world. And the book that you wrote that I love, that you gave to me, The Digital Sexual Victims, True Cases. These are all true cases that you've documented.
Yes.
Right? Yeah.
Yes.
Amazing book. The one that you just mentioned, somebody else had read. And I've never done this for a guest, I would like to offer to pay for the first 5 books of the first 5 people when you're listening to this show. Charlene will tell you how to reach out to her immediately right now. But in the meantime, you let her know that you heard her as a guest on my show, Celebration of You with Holly Dowling, and I will pay for the first 5 people that reach out to you, I will pay for their book because I think it's powerful.
I will sign it and pay for the shipping, Holly.
Oh, Charlene, look at us. Oh my gosh. Okay. Oh, I love that we're doing this. Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. No, I think it's so important.
Yes. Okay. So why don't we tie that up then? Tell people, how do you want them to reach out to you? Because it'll be the first 5 that get the free book and all that. So tell them how to reach out to you, and then anything else in a way that they want to reach out and just talk to you or find out about having you come speak. How best to get to reach out to you, my love? My email.
And it is internet sense, as in common sense. So it's internetsense.first@rogers.com. And the first is FIRST. If you email internetsense.first@rogers.com, if you are one of the first 5, then it should be, when I get the first 5 emails, the subject should be Holly, and you will get a signed autograph, a book from me.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. And we will have that internet, your exact email address in the blog, so that if you are listening to this, make sure to read the blog that goes with this, and we will make sure you have the exact email address written out. And then Charlene, if you have a website, what's the website that people can go look at and explore to learn more about everything you're doing?
Well, I have 2 actually. One is internetsensefirst.com.
Okay.
And the other one is more of a personal one. It's cdgnutrition.com.
And that's where they can learn more about the holistic approach to nutrition that you're a specialist in too, right?
Well, just basically everything that encompasses everything I'm doing. Internetsensefirst.com is more the charity and what I'm doing in that regard.
Well, I just hope that anybody listening is empowered and inspired to go out there in this world and start to do something to make a difference and make a difference in the sick epidemic. And also just to hear from somebody like Charlene that has chosen to take her life and make it about pursuing a passion and bringing wellness and health and awareness to such a sad, scary thing. And I just thank you for that, my love. This is why, from the moment we met, we knew we were kindred spirits forever.
Yes, we did. Yes, we did.
All right. I can't wait to see you again. Thank you for being with me.
Yeah. Thank you, Holly, and I love you too.
Love you more than you know. Thank you for joining me for another awesome celebration of you. If you were inspired by this story, please share it with your family and friends and hashtag Your Story Matters. I'd love to hear from you, so please leave a comment on iTunes. And absolutely, please come to my website, hollydowling.com. Leave a comment there too, and while you're there, pick up your free gift. Most importantly, though, just remember that your life is a gift from God. What you do with it is your gift back.